Have you ever wondered why parts cost more from an auto repair shop? Have you ever got your invoice and looked at it and said, my God, those parts are expensive. I could have got it cheaper at AutoZone myself, or Rock Auto, or definitely Amazon. Well, today I'm going to explain to you how repair shops make money. Other repair shops might be mad at me about it. Consumers might be mad at me about it. Or hopefully you'll look at it and go, yeah, that makes sense. So let's get into this. So if you're a returning viewer to my channel, you know that I'm actually a used car dealer. But what a lot of people don't know is I also own a shop. And I sell my cars at the same location as I do the repairs in my shop. It's two separate businesses. I got into this business about 6 years ago, almost by mistake. Well, it definitely was a mistake. And you may have seen my video, I'll put it up here, about why I hate owning a shop. That video's, I don't know, 2 months old now, 6 weeks old. And man, I got some haters on there, but that's okay. I made another video afterwards about some of the mistakes that I made when I bought my shop. And one of the reasons that it was a mistake for me was I had really no industry experience. So I had to have other people show me sort of how to do it, what the margins were, what the markups were, and how that came to be. And I sometimes hear people, when they're asking for recommendations on Facebook or something like that, say, that shop screwed me, or they rip you off. It only costs $200 to do blah, blah, blah. But there's lots of things that go into this, and I thought I would explain to you a little bit about when you take your car to a shop, what do you get, what's it cost, and why does it cost what it costs. Now, these are general guidelines. Different shops do different things. This is somewhat of an industry standard. Your shop may be more or less. So let's get into it. Hopefully at the end of this video, you'll understand how shops price things and be okay with paying for those services. So right off the top, there's three things you get when you take a car to a shop. You get your time, we got the tools, and you get a warranty. And what I mean by those things is you drop your car off at a shop, you fill out your paperwork, you leave. You've gotten some time back. And that's a value to people in most cases. Now, not only does the shop have the service to sell, they probably can get it done quicker than you could. For example, maybe you've never done a water pump. You don't know how. All right, so we can do it quicker and we know what we're doing. Second, a lot of repairs require some specialty tooling. If you don't have that specialty tooling, it's either going to take you a lot longer to get the work done, or you're going to have to go out and buy that tool. And when you go out and buy that tool, then that kind of cuts into what does it cost to fix it. And the third thing is, it's done right. And what happens if that part breaks in 6 months? Well, if you go to a shop, you're going to have a warranty. So those are all reasons people want to bring the car to the shop. You got to understand, a shop is providing a service. And when there is a service provided, there is a cost associated. And so we get to the part that I break down for customers, and some of them go, ah, yeah. Others, not so thrilled. A shop, no matter what kind of shop, really a business. We sell here at my shop, we really only sell two things. Now, it's auto repair, but it doesn't matter if it's a transmission, a water pump, a starter, or brakes. Shops only have two things to sell. We sell parts and we sell labor. So on the labor side, most shops will have a shop rate, say nowadays, between $100 to $200. Really, I mean, there's a wide variety. Of that $100 to $200, the technician, the person actually doing the work, might get paid $40 to $50. Now, you might say, you're ripping off that technician because you're charging twice as much as what you collect. Yep, we are. And what you have to remember as a consumer is you've come to a business, and the business's purpose, no matter what their mission statement says about bettering people's lives, blah, 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 they're there to make money. They are there to turn a profit. So on the repair side, shops charge flag hours. What that means is there's a guide and it says a water pump takes 2 hours. So we're going to charge the customer 2 labor hours. The technician is going to get paid 2 labor hours. Now, if that technician can do the job in an hour, he's still getting paid 2 labor hours. That's what we've billed. But if he's newer or doesn't have proper tools and it takes him 3 hours, he's still getting paid 2 labor hours. So that's one of the services that the shop sells. We sell labor. The next thing we sell is parts. And that's what you got to understand. If you get your pool serviced and they charge you for chemicals, do you think that they charged you what they paid for those chemicals? Hell no, they didn't. They're marked up. We are the same way. All shops are. That is one of the items that we sell. So when we place our order either through a dealership or, O'Reilly or AutoZone or WorldPack or Napa or whoever, they always have the price that they give us, and they have a list price, which is a suggested price that we should sell the part for. I will tell you that most shops will mark up parts 40 to 60%. It depends on what the part is, how reasonable it is, the cost of the part. There's lots of things that go into that. So if you add the labor markup to the parts markup, that generally gives the shop a 50 to 60% gross margin. So that margin is what's necessary to run our business. But I'll tell you, we frequently get calls. Somebody will say, how much is it to put an axle in my 2015 Honda, and I've got my own axle? I don't do that. And I'll tell you why we don't do that. So let's just think about this from a liability standpoint, right? If I put that axle in and the axle's no good in 3 months, do you think there's a chance the manufacturer could say it was an installation problem, that my guy messed it up? Possible. Do you think the consumer might say, I paid you to put this axle in, it's already gone bad, that's a problem? I will tell you there's very few consumers that go, oh, damn, my Amazon part failed. Now I have to pay again. But that's the reality. If the part goes bad, usually the consumer and the parts manufacturer want to look at the shop and say, y'all did something wrong. And the shop is obviously going to look at the part and go, hey, this is a customer provided part. It's not from one of our approved vendors. We can't warranty that. We didn't sell you the part. We sold you only labor. So when you call a shop and you try that, I've got my own parts number, I generally decline those jobs. And the reason why, and I explain it politely to the customer, is when you bring your own parts to a shop, you are denying them the opportunity to make income and to make the margin they need. And furthermore, depending on the size, speed, and type of jobs that shop does and the type of job that you have, it is actually just mathematically not worth it to put the car up on the lift to do the job, because you're, in theory, cutting the margin that we can make on that job in about half or a third versus if we had provided you the part. So that's why my shop and most shops do not use customer provided parts. All right, so that's why a lot of shops won't let you bring your own parts, just because it cuts into the margin, and shops need a margin to make an income to stay in business. Does that make sense to you? Let me know in the comments down below. How do you feel about people that want to bring their own parts? Is that something that you typically do? Did you not understand before the video how the price markup works? I'd really appreciate your feedback, and of course the comments help my algorithm, along with the likes, the subscribes, and all that fun stuff. So getting back to gross margin. For example, if the job costs $1,000, that's what the shop bills you, you pay that. On a 60% gross margin, that means the shop makes about $600. On a 50% gross margin, the shop would make about $500. Now, does that mean they screwed you? Did you get overcharged? And who determines what overcharge is? I mean, different shops have different overhead. They have different rates. You know, that $500 that we make, that is not profit to the bottom line, I can assure you. Let's just think for a second about what the shop is paying out in expenses. Okay, so the gross margin, that covers parts and the technician. So that's parts and labor. The rest is the gross profit. And out of that, we're paying rent, we're paying insurance, we're paying electricity, we're paying advertising, we're paying trash disposal, we're paying internet, we're paying all sorts of other expenses. So that money that we make in no way generates our real profit. You know, if we make 10% at the end of the year, that's usually pretty good. Um, so it is what it is. But that's why there are those expenses. So when people say they screwed me, did they screw you? No, you didn't get screwed. They told you a price. You had an option to accept it or not. If that service provided to you had a value and that value equaled the dollars that they were asking for, accept the service. If you feel that the price is too high, well, you can call around to 5 other shops and find the dirt cheapest guy that does it. Or you can go to a shop that you trust, that's cleaner, that's newer, that's quicker, that has better availability, whatever it might be. And that may be a little bit more money. Those are just options, and you can do whichever one of those works best for you. All right, so here's the last thought. And it offends people sometimes, and entrepreneurs love it. And sometimes people are embarrassed to admit it. But here it is, guys. Profit is not a bad word. Okay? It is okay when you are in business to make a profit. And it is okay to make a large profit with a great margin. And it's okay to make a small profit with a little margin. And to me, what allows that percentage of profit is value received. So if you own a great shop and you're making great money and you're providing a good service to your customers and you have repeat clientele, it's okay to make more profit. If you're the customer and you know that the shop is going to do you a solid job and stands behind their work, but they cost, $50 more than the shop down the street, it's okay to go to that better shop and know that they're going to make a little bit more profit. No one is screwing you. We're offering an exchange. The exchange is the service that you need, and that doesn't apply just to auto repair shops. That's anything. The service that you need, grocery store, they didn't pay that same price for groceries, but yet they have groceries, they have lights, they have a space for you to buy them, they have somebody to check you out unless they're Walmart. So if the service is worth the cost to you, you are not getting screwed by purchasing that item. And, you have to compare apples to apples. I had a guy call me yesterday he said 18 places to find the cheapest place to get his transmission serviced. The problem was he called a lot of quick change oil places that don't do the same service that a full service transmission shop does. So he wasn't even comparing apples to apples. And I literally would make $0 trying to match a price from a quick change oil place because the service isn't the same. So if you're in business, profit is not a bad word. Never be embarrassed to say, I make a profit. I had a good customer, repeat customer in last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he questioned my invoice based on the price of the part. And I had to explain to him, yes, sir, that is more money than you would pay for it yourself. And that's because we're a shop, and shops only make money 2 ways: selling labor, selling parts. And after I explained that to him, it was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, because he was happy with my invoice when I told him the price was, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever it was. That didn't bother him. It was only when he looked at how I got to the price that he was a little concerned. But after I explained it, no problem. He was fine. So those are things I wanted to tell people. I get frustrated as a business owner where people say, oh, they're screwing you. That shop is screwing you because the part only costs this. There are so many things to consider, guys, besides just the part. There is the price of labor. These technicians have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on tools that make those jobs go more efficiently. They have know-how and knowledge that you maybe don't have. And then the parts are jacked up. They're a little bit more expensive. They also come with a warranty, which means you only pay for it once during a certain period of time, and that's things that create a value to you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have plenty of other videos. Again, most of my videos are about the used car business, but take a look at the channel. I hope to see you again, and I appreciate you watching. Everybody have a great day.